Alright, hello guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at two upcoming snowstorm threats that I see for the East Coast in the foreseeable future in the coming weeks. Now, before I get started with this video, though, I would ask that you do subscribe if you do like weather-related content, and also make sure to share this video with your friends, family, and social media. I'd also highly recommend that you check out our very exciting store where we actually just released t-shirts officially. You can check those out in the description and the pinned comment down below, and also our very exciting Patreon page where you can help support the channel. Now, for today's comment of the day, I want to know, do you think that either of these two threats or both will happen? Let us know in the comments down below what you think, and I'll be picking one of those for tomorrow's video. Now, let's get into this video, and first things first, we're actually going to be sharing some photos, and these photos are coming from Binghamton, New York, from Jared Reister. Thank you so much for posting these in Weather Freaks, our Facebook group. You can check that out also in the description and the pinned comment down below and join the exciting community. These are coming from Binghamton, New York. And he actually confirmed that these fences in these pictures are about 5 feet tall. So for reference, you can use that, but it looks like they got a ton of snow. Let's just move on to that next picture. This one just looks extreme. I think that's maybe a car down there. I can't even tell. And then he actually took a measurement here this morning and officially has 37 inches of snow on the ground so far. As of about 6:30 a.m. this morning in Binghamton, New York. Looks like this storm was absolutely major and massive for your region. Congratulations on those huge amounts of snowfall. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to move on, take a look at some simulated radar stuff for the rest of that storm, and then we're going to start talking about the upcoming pattern. I see two upcoming potential threats for some big East Coast snowstorms, one around the 20th and one around the 25th. So that's a big day, and we'll be talking about those in just a moment. Now, quickly, we're going to take a little bit of a look back at yesterday morning's European model run, and it actually had that heaviest snowfall far south of where it actually went, so the European model actually didn't do very good. Let's take a look at two models that did do a very good job. Here's our NAM 3KM model, and this looks very good, and then also our RGEM model. Both were very, very accurate in this situation. Taking a look at our HRRR model, which is our highest resolution model we have available. Looking towards a little bit in the future, this is right now, we have heavy snowfall around for upstate New York, New England. By the time we're reaching about 1 p.m., it's going to be coming to an end for New England. We're going to have some snow showers around for Vermont, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, and Maine. That is going to shortly come to an end. And the pattern we will be left with is cold in the east for the 18th. Then by the time we reach the 19th, here's what the European model says. We have a trough moving in. You can see around Minnesota through Kansas. There we have a little bit of a trough with some precipitation out in front of it for Texas, Arkansas. Let's take a look at if the GFS agrees, and it certainly does. We both of them here have a storm system and that trough. But what the results are of that is very, very different according to both of these models. So what we're going to do is we're going to move on, and we're going to see what both of these models have happening with that area of precipitation with the trough moving in around the 20th of December in just a few days. So I guess you could call this snowstorm threat number 1, and let's just take a look at the European model. It does have some snow showers around on Sunday morning, maybe around 7 a.m. after that storm system begins to move up, and it remains relatively weak on the European model here. We don't really see much happen with it. That's why it's a potential threat and not really like a guaranteed threat. So keep in mind, I'm saying threats, not upcoming snowstorm. I'm mentioning the fact that this could turn into what looks like a big snowstorm coming in. So let's just take a look see if the GFS agrees, and it does. We have the same, pretty much the same thing going on here on the same exact hour. But what eventually happens the next day is we see that trough move in and a giant storm system move off the East Coast and develop there. And with just a little bit of some tweaks here, we could see a major snowstorm result from this signal here with just a few things changing, and it has been trending a little bit further west with that low pressure center, which is going to move it closer and closer to becoming a big snowstorm if that connects properly, like I said. So let's just move it on towards about Tuesday at about 1 a.m. here. And take a look at that, guys. I had to zoom out just to see that storm, but it's offshore of Cape Cod as a 977 millibar low pressure center. There is ample amounts of cold air available. If we see this trend a little bit colder or a little bit further west, we're going to be taking a look at another big East Coast snowstorm, or just as easily as it could do that, it could trend away and trend east, in which case we would be taking a look at nothing. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the beginning of that next storm signal. So we're taking a look at the 23rd, and this is our European model. As you can see, we have a big warm-up for the east that's pretty, it looks like it's going to be pretty short-lived. I think from the 22nd through the 24th, we could have a bit of a warm-up, so that might extend a little bit into Christmas Eve, but we can see that there's a trough moving into the Dakotas, the Great Plains. Now, what we're going to see in a moment is that we're going to see a major storm system develop along that cold front there that we're going to see developing along the Ohio Valley, and that's going to be kind of our second potential threat coming up. We're going to show that in just a moment. So here we are taking a look at that European model again, and as you can see, by the time we're reaching about 1 a.m. on Thursday, Christmas Eve day, it looks like there could potentially be a storm system there, actually for the Ohio Valley. This is very far out, so I want you to take it with a grain of salt, but also take a look out there at the East Coast, and there's also a very large storm system there. If we somehow see these come together, it would create a massive snowstorm, so we're going to want to be on the lookout for that potentially to occur. That does happen from time to time. And actually, eventually, it kind of does, as you can see, as we're reaching about maybe 7 p.m. there on Christmas Eve night. Pennsylvania, we also see New York, Ohio, West Virginia. The location isn't really crucial. It's more about the cold air being available, which that is a massive trough, might I add. And then there's also a very large storm system there as well. That's the two ingredients for a big snowstorm, and they seem to be available. Let's just watch it on the GFS model now. And as you can see, we have December 23rd, again, the day before Christmas Eve, and we have that trough. It's moving in mostly to the central United States. We have a big warm-up for the East Coast, like I said, the southeast, the south-central United States, and that's going to be for the day before Christmas Eve. That's going to be a Wednesday, December 23rd. This is around the morning hour. That's going to be kind of just like the thaw before the big freeze, because it appears, like I've been showing throughout this video, that we're going to have a massive cool down around Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, and then the following days after. It actually appears we're going to close out December on a cold note as well. Overall, very, very interesting stuff here, guys. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on, and we're going to move on where we're going to see that storm system develop here on the GFS as we move towards Christmas Eve. So we're going to take a look at what that one has to say, and as a bonus, we're actually going to take a look at a potential storm system even after that as well. All right, so here we are taking a look at about the afternoon hour of Thursday, December 24th, Christmas Eve. As you can see, there's not as much snowfall here on the GFS model, but take a look at that massive trough, guys. That is probably one of the more potent troughs we've seen in a long time. If this was to occur, obviously that's 180 hours out. So that's a pretty decent amount of time. We can start paying attention to this signal of a big trough moving in. It's not too far out. But we could see some differences definitely from what this is showing. You can see the storm system is quite potent, and it's extending along that East Coast. It's going to be a rainy Christmas Eve, it appears. Pretty nasty along the East Coast. And again, potential for snow. If we see that trough move in any amount faster, or the storm take a little bit longer, this is going to be the potential for a large snowstorm. So again, I want to reiterate the fact this video is about two potential snowstorm threats, not anything definitive. So I'm just showing you guys the signals and the ingredients that are there for these things to turn into a lot more than they are now. And I just want to tell you, our major snowstorm we just had started out as just two ingredients just sitting there, and we watched them come together, and then eventually it led to what is now being dubbed as potentially a historic snowstorm. So anything is possible with these types of signals, and that's why we take a look at these and we take them seriously when we see them this far out even. All right, now what we're going to do here is move towards about Christmas Day afternoon and take a look at the cold air that's going to be around. We see snow showers also within there, lake effect snowfall potentially going on. And take a look at that. We have a storm system offshore of the East Coast, very close to bringing snowfall to a lot of regions there along the East Coast. If we see that any further west, we would see snowfall along kind of a more minor nor'easter according to this model. But again, the potential is there for an East Coast threat, for a snowstorm on Christmas Day, actually. And we're going to watch that closely. Probabilities at this point of things playing out exactly like this are probably about 10% or so, but we could see those chances increase. The 20th snowstorm is a little bit more promising because we have a 5-day head start for that one. We're like 5 days more confident in that one. But then the Christmas one, there is a good signal that we could have a storm system around that could potentially be a snowstorm. And then as a bonus, even by the 30th of December, you can see we still have cold air along the East Coast, and the GFS is still showing some potential snowstorm threats throughout that time frame. So it looks like we're going to close December out on a cold note. the second half of December overall, which we are already in the beginning of the second half, but it does appear to be quite cold and quite snowy. And with this snowstorm we just had, it does appear that that is certainly the case. Anyways, for today's comment of the day, I asked you guys, where do you think the bullseye is going to set up? And Noop Bloop said, I think somewhere in northeast PA, gets 32 inches just southwest of Binghamton, New York. And you were pretty close to where the bullseye set up, so that's a good comment there. Binghamton, New York is actually pretty much right where that bullseye set up, like I said before. Anyway, for our patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons: Sebastian Towle, John Benbenick, Justin Quantrell, James Wade, Dovey Nagel, Alan Belemo, Adam S., Larry LePan, Donna Carnes, Cameron Marshall, Ada Mattis, alongside our diamond patrons Bill Roberts, Alan Sherry, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Michael Codalessa, Michael Buell, Terry Curtis, Catbite, Charles Stinnett, Kellen Manhart, It's Jay, Cindy Klein, Alicia Davis, and Mark J. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. I appreciate all of you guys' continued support for my YouTube channel. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for watching this video. Again, be sure to share it with your friends, family, and social media. I will see you guys in the next video.